Hey everyone, Brianna Colombini here. Today I wanted to do a short video on something that came up in a class that I'm taking recently, and I thought it was amazing, and I just wanted to share it with all of you in this spiritual community that may or may not be working on your spiritual gifts, i.e. your clairs. So if you're new to that term clairs, I'll tell you, you've probably heard of the term clairvoyance, which in French, it's a French word, means clear seeing. So clairvoyance, it's clear seeing. And it's a term that's used for those people who, practice giving messages and receiving messages from spirit, psychically, mediums, so psychic mediums. And it literally means, like, in your mind's eye, you see things, and that's how you receive information energetically from spirit, to give that information to others or just receive it for yourself. And so this class I'm taking, the class is instructed by a awesome psychic medium, teacher, coach, reverend, you name it, all these crazy certifications. Her name is Terri Tucker, and she is in Phoenix, Arizona. Her business is Chicks with Spiritual Gifts, which is an awesome name. And so if you check her website out, chickswithspiritualgifts.com, she has like so much information. She's been doing this for such a long time. She's got, over 100+ blogs on every topic of spirituality you can imagine. Very helpful. I've read and done the activities in many of them. And so she also teaches classes, and one of the classes that I'm taking currently is an intuitive studies class with Terri. So one of the things we did was, try to discover what our clairs are. So for those of you, like I said, who are new to that term, so clairvoyance is probably one of the best known, better known of people who maybe even aren't in the spiritual community. So clairvoyance, they say, oh, she's or he's a clairvoyant, meaning they can see things in their mind's eye. So I had to write down the other ones so I wouldn't forget them. So if you see here, along with my other blog ideas, we have a list. So there's 5 clairs that are predominantly used to receive those messages and energy from spirit. Those are clairvoyance, number 1, clairaudience, so meaning like clear hearing, like you hear things, either you physically hear them, like you hear a pen drop, you literally hear them, or you can hear them kind of in your head, like if you were thinking about someone's voice and how it sounded, you would hear that voice in your head. So that can be a type of clairaudience, and that's also one of the clairs. Clairsentience, so clear feeling. So like you get like that gut-wrenching feeling when you meet someone that may be awesome, and you may have like a really excited feeling, or oh, they're just like maybe not like the best vibe person, and you feel that. Or you walk into a room where maybe there's been some, I know people have told me about they've walked into rooms who are clairsentient, walked into rooms and they're very like all of a sudden they just get really like anxious, nervous, like, oh gosh, something really bad happened here. So that's a clairsentience. So that gift is called clairsentience. Sorry, I think my neighbors just let their like 15 canines outside. So if you hear the barking, I apologize. So then the 4th one is clairgustance, and that's clear, like tasting, smelling. So clear, I think some people break it out and they say clairgustance or clairolfaction, but essentially it just means you receive like information, like you'll smell something even though there's like nothing around. Like a lot of people, when they, myself included, are contacting spirit and people who have passed, if they were smokers, all of a sudden you'll smell like cigarette smoke because it's a really familiar smell to most of us. If we weren't surrounded by it or we don't smoke ourselves, we still know what it smells like. So, and then maybe getting taste in your mouth. So some people receive information that way. The last one is called claircognizance. So it's clear knowing. So if you think like being cognizant of something, knowing, claircognizance. Some people are like, oh yeah, I'm like that. I always, in my daily life, there'll be like those people when you start telling them something and you're like mid-sentence and they're like, oh, I know. And they'll finish your sentences for you. It's because they're claircognizant. Like they just boom, like no. Or that you start telling them how to do something and then they just like start doing it like without you finishing. It's because they just boom, no. Or, you say, oh, I can't remember this person's birthday or some piece of information. And they'll be like, March 17th, 1982. You know, they just know this information. It just pops into their head. Boom. I'll have to say I do receive some of my information that way, but predominantly mine is clairvoyance and then clairaudience. But so those are the 5 clairs. Specifically, what I wanted to tell you guys about today, which is really exciting when we did this in class, you know, you take quizzes and things like that to see what your clairs are, or what, you know, what it means when you hear little noises, or if you see things out of the corner of your eye. And I love taking those quizzes. I still take them to this day. It's just nice to have like validation on like what you know to be your gifts. It's just a human thing, I guess. But one of the activities we did was to test to see if clairvoyance is one of our predominant ways to receive energy and messages. So Terri, my teacher, she had us all, and I think it would be awesome if you could do this, because it's a really quick, easy way to tell if your clairvoyance is like one of your predominant strengths, gifts, whatever, and to tell if you can do that right now. So if you want, we can all do this together. So Terri had us, you know, close our eyes. So close your eyes. And then while your eyes are closed, imagine a blank screen. Doesn't matter, it can be a black screen, white screen. Mine was white. So just imagine a blank screen. And this isn't like the back of your eyelids. This is like, you know, if you think about someone's face and you think about how it looks, creating that picture in your mind's eye. So you can have your blank screen. And what I want you to do is put a red rose in the center of the screen. Can you see it? And keep your eyes closed. Whether you can or cannot see it, keep your eyes closed. And take the rose off the screen now, just wipe it away. Now put a basketball in the center of the screen. Can you see the basketball? Whether you can or you can't, keep your eyes closed. And so take the basketball off, wipe that off the screen. And now put a swan, so like a big white bird. Put a swan on your screen. And while you're, you know, trying to put the swan on your screen, or you have it there, zoom in now on the swan to where you can see something really close, like its beak or its eyes or its feathers. Just zoom in on the swan. Okay, now zoom back out. So you just see it on your screen. Okay, and then you can let the swan go and open your eyes. So I know some of you are like, what was that for? And some of you are like, okay, yeah. So for those of you who saw all 3 of the images, for one, and that also were able to, you know, take them off, put them on, zoom in, zoom out, you're clairvoyant. That is a very predominant gift for you. When I was doing this, I looked around the room. There's about, you know, 20 students or so in the class, and I'm looking around the room like, okay, you know, I saw it. And then she said, how many of you saw all those images and were able to zoom in and zoom out? And I raised my hand, I looked around, and there were like only like 4 other people in the class. And I was like, what? You guys couldn't see? You couldn't, you know, no. And not to say that one of these clairs is better than the other. That is not my intent here, but I'm telling you, I was legitimately surprised that people can't just do that. They can't see something. They can't imagine something in their mind's eye, but it turns out not everyone can. So for those of you who just did this activity, if you actually did it and you could see all the images and you could change them out and you can zoom in, zoom out, you're clairvoyant, my friend. So if you ever wanted to start developing some of your gifts, just know that that's predominantly how spirit would probably initially try to transmit energy and information and messages to you. And so for those of you who maybe didn't see the images and weren't able to easily, you know, switch them out or zoom in, zoom out, it may be just a, you know, a matter of exercising, like doing that exercise and trying to imagine those things, or someone describing someone to you and you trying to create that picture in your mind, just kind of working that, you know, spiritual clairvoyant muscle. But my teacher, she's extremely clairaudient, claircognizant, clairsentient, but she actually can't see either. She had, you know, some trauma in her childhood where she just completely like did not want to see anything anymore. And so she kind of closed that off at a very early age. Now, you know, she's a psychic medium, and she's, you know, working on opening up her third eye, so to speak, so that she can see those things. And I think she's actually starting to. She went on a trip to Egypt and, you know, laid in the pyramids and asked for that. So I think she's actually starting to see like flickers of things in her mind's eye. But anyway, if you weren't, you can always practice. All of us have all of these gifts. So I'll just say that all of us have all the clairs. We can do anything we want. We were made to receive information in this way. We are energy, and this is all it is. It's just a way of receiving the energy and translating it, being a human. So no worries if you didn't, but if you did, now you know. It's a little more than just taking a quiz and clicking a few questions. It's an actual activity to let you know that you are clairvoyant, my friend. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, leave those below. I'll try to answer any questions that come in as soon as I can. If you have any you know, questions about who I am, what I do, you can visit my website at briannacolombini.com. Book an appointment, check out the services. Love to hear from you as well if you want to shoot me a message. And until next time, you guys have a great week, and practice on your clairvoyance. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.